Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like all of you to begin today's stream with one giant deep breath. Exhale. One more. Exhale. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Don Mafia Report. Ass whooping last night. Oh my God, belt to ass. Chicago Bears and the Buffalo Bills, 38-0. And if my memory serves me correctly, I'm almost convinced that this may have been one of the most lopsided preseason performances in modern day history. I think per Thad Brown, as a matter of fact, we may have heard that this was by and large the worst in about a 50-year period. So what does this all mean? Should we be punching holes through our drywall? Should we be saying, here we go again, another heartbreak? We're clearly only winning 4 games. Let's look at the drafts. Who's the best edge rusher we can grab in the top 5? Who's our next head coach? No. Not at all. Of course, it is the preseason, and that's something I would like each and every single one of you to acknowledge. However, I think that last night was certainly telling for a couple of players that I suppose we were hoping could step up, because what is, by and large, the biggest issue of the Buffalo Bills for the past couple of years? I think we can all agree depth. So we wanted to see some playmakers from the depth side of things. And I got to tell you, very limited great performances all across the board. Very, very limited. So I would imagine that the vast majority of this episode is going to be pinpointing things that should worry us, pinpointing players that aren't where they should be at this time during the preseason, and speculating how the 53-man roster is going to shake up now that we finally have our answers. And I appreciate every one of you that tuned in with me last evening for the preseason watch-along party. It was a tough watch. I'm not going to lie to you. I lasted for about the first half. At first, I was a little disappointed that the NFL had this game start at 8 p.m. EST, especially for an old man like myself that is typically in bed by 9 p.m. each and every single evening. But damn, man, holy hell. I think most importantly, what I wanted to do is hop on here and again, let each and every single one of you know that during the preseason, you don't need to look at a team's performance from a schematic standpoint, but rather you need to look at the preseason from individual performances, these individual players fighting for a roster spot or a depth spot even, and get a good sense of where this team looks like from some of our younger talent. I do want to remind you that there are several occasions of teams that go 0-3 in the preseason and are in the Super Bowl every single season. And there is also a share of teams that go undefeated in the preseason and ultimately end up losing each and every single game. Most notably was the Detroit Lions, I believe, was the last time when they ended up going 0-16 or 0-17, that one specific year for Detroit. So it really doesn't tell us a lot. And another thing that I would like to let everybody know is there will never be a point, and I want everyone to remember this, there will never be a point, barring some crazy injury bug, where we will ever see the entire second string defense or entire second string offense playing in unison together out on the field. We will never see the entirety of the third string playing in a unison as a unit on the field during the regular season. Even when the Buffalo Bills have hit the worst of the worst injury bug, sometimes you'll ultimately end up seeing a couple of second string players being added to the first team, maybe a third string player. But at the end of the day, a lot of these guys' performances are based off of the players that are playing right aside them. So again, I want to let everyone know, last night, we will never see out on the field. Because I can tell you this, and I promise you this, if any team in the NFL rolled out their entire second team offense or second team defense, which is what the preseason is all about, they would get their asses kicked each and every single game. That's how it is. But anyway, guys, I am excited to unpack today's episode. My name is Dan Mitchell. I am a Bills/NFL content creator on the internet, the largest, as a matter of fact. I'm pretty proud of that. I stream Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. EST, breaking down everything that happens with the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, last night you guys did tune in to the live play-by-play reaction, and you're here for the recap. All I ask is if, for example, you rock with the show, several of you I know like to go about your work days or your day-to-day responsibilities and have me on as some background noise to make the day go by faster. I appreciate you. Shout out to the work lurkers. Shout out to everybody on this beautiful Monday, August 18th. I know it could be a hell of a lot more beautiful. That is for damn sure. But do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign. It's the easiest way to show love over here. It's free. It takes less than a second. And as many of you know, I am nosy. I want to know where everybody is tuning in from. How far does Bills Mafia truly extend? What corner of the United States, what corner of the globe are we tuning in from today prior to us hopping in to business? As Chad Marks comes in with the first super sticker of the day. Chad, I hope you had a wonderful summer. It's so good to have you back, my friend. He is a very quality YouTuber on this platform. Say, for example, that you were ever interested in the prison system in the United States, man. He has some very informative videos. I enjoy his channel very much, and I highly recommend you give him a shout out for coming on in and showing a little bit of love. Again, guys, do not be shy. Roll call in the chat. Let me know where you were tuning in from, and let's unpack exactly what happened at the Buffalo Bills and the Chicago Bears game. And spoiler alert, guys, not a lot to get excited about, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that I can pull out at least some diamonds in the rough. We are going to end this episode at least with some positivity. That I can tell you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Where is everyone tuning in from? Do not be shy. Lock in. Alan is tuned in saying, Alan from Arkport, New York. What is going on, my friend? How are you? We have Go Bills from Kansas. Good morning, Bills Mafia. We have Christopher 716. Chattanooga is in the building. Kathy, Pennsylvania is in the building. Ghana is in the building. Norfolk, Virginia. Syracuse is in the building. We have Pennsylvania. Let's talk about this. Benton, Arkansas, checking in. Go Bills. Good morning to you, my friend. United Kingdom. Go Bills. Good afternoon to you, my friend. I hope you were enjoying your Monday as well. Chad Marks is located in Rochester. Bills Mafia, EP, Texas. Go Bills. Winter Park, Florida. John Morrissey. Hope all is well. San Francisco is in the building. Geneva, New York. Fairfield, Maine. We have Orlando, Florida. Fresno, California. Massachusetts is in the building. Virginia Tech, Blacksburg. Look at that. Naples, Florida. Beautiful town over there. We have a lot of Facebookers in here today, man. Shout out to everybody on the book. Man, holy hell, man. We've been building a community over on Facebook, and I can appreciate that. 157 of you on YouTube. Do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up sign, guys. Let's try to make sure we get as many Bills fans in here as possible because we need to have a therapy hour. All right. Because based off of last evening's live stream, I got to tell you, man, 60 to 70% of the fans I was chatting with last night, they were ready to wrap it up and call it a season. As silly as it sounds. All right. It's clear that they all need a little bit of positivity and for someone to walk them back on the appropriate path. I think that much we can do for them. So make sure you hit that thumbs up sign, folks. Let's go ahead and propel this out to the YouTube algorithm. We have Connecticut in the building. Leo, Go Bills, South Florida. Salt Lake City, Utah is in the building. Oswego, New York. Mesa, Arizona. Monroe, North Carolina. England's in the building. Tampa, Detroit is in the building. Colleen, hope all is well. Kansas City. A Caribbean cruise heading to the Bahamas. Cody, enjoy your cruise, my friend. Enjoy your cruise. I wonder if you set sail yesterday. Hopefully you didn't have good enough service to watch that travesty last evening. But if you did, thank God you have that drink package you can fall back on. I can promise you that. We have Nassau County in Long Island. New effing Jersey. Damn, Iowa's in the building. Mitchell Dyson is in the building. Man, Facebook is going crazy right now, man. Shout out to the people on the book hanging out with us, man. I can appreciate that. Dan's Recycling Bin, Florida. JC, man, there are so many better options on my property that you could have and decided to hang your hat, and you chose the recycling bin. I don't recycle, fool. I throw everything out. I'm just kidding. Oh, my God. All right, man. All right. And so now all the environmentalists are going to be in my mentions. Thank you. Setting me up for a joke. Chicago's in the building. You do a great job. Bing, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Charlotte, North Carolina, Salt Lake City checking in. That was rough. Indeed. Okay. 38-0. No matter how you spin it, this is not good. Okay. Second string, third string, fourth string, what have you. Will I acknowledge the fact that the majority of these players are probably talking with their agents to set up a tryout for a UFL team here in a couple of weeks? 110%. I totally get that. However, the root of my disappointment has to do with a couple of players that we have all been hoping could step up, or we have seen some type of hope that they could make a second-year jump, or maybe we wanted rookies to be ahead of schedule because they had so much preseason hype or pre-draft hype. A lot of that didn't happen, but that doesn't mean that we can't walk away with some learnings from this performance. And what I wanted to do is start off with the box score, and then eventually we can look at snap counts. And then I'm going to open it up to a question and answer type segment. Many of you guys know it. I'll probably open up the Garage Beer hotline as well for each and every single one of you to come on in and vent. For those of you watching on Facebook, if, for example, you want the link to the Garage Beer hotline, I highly recommend you come find me over on YouTube. It's a much more crowded chat, and you'll have the ability to meet a bunch of new friends. Just look me up, Dan Mitchell, on YouTube, and you will find the exact same stream for once that portion of the show is set. So, gotta tell you, man, holy hell, the QB2 competition has been completely solidified from last night. Leading up into the game, I was very loud in hoping Mike White would get reps with the second team or be the first quarterback we saw. And good God, man, good God, be careful what you wish for, because that was perhaps one of the worst quarterback performances I have seen in quite some time. I did notice that the All-22 has just dropped. I'm going to be unpacking that ad nauseum this afternoon. So my next stream is going to be more so of an All-22 breakdown for us to look at exactly what was on the field for the most part. But it's wild, man. Like, anytime you heard Mike White had a good training camp practice, or you heard that he had the slight edge on Mitchell Trubisky, the second that man takes off a red non-contact jersey and you start to put a little bit of pressure on the man, knowing that he's going to get hit, he completely fell apart. And I am not convinced in the slightest that, say, for example, Josh were to go down for a couple of games, that Mike White would have much of a shot. Now, you've heard me say on this channel, and I still believe this, if Josh were to miss, 6 to 8 games, knock on wood, we never want to see that, obviously, I at least think Mitchell Trubisky would be able to keep us in games. Mike White, I have a feeling that everything would fall apart and we would be losing by multiple touchdowns. Like, the second that you implement pressure on this guy, he completely crumbles. Bad throw after bad throw after bad throw. He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. And more than likely, I think Mike White has proven to the Buffalo Bills he is nothing but a practice squad quarterback. Mitch Trubisky ended up winning the QB2 battle last evening without him even stepping on the field. Barring how he performed last night, of course, with a third-string offensive line, and you scroll down and see some of the receivers, obviously, that were out there. You have Steven Gosnell, Deion Kane, KJ Hamler. You have Elijah Moore. You had Josh Palmer was out there for 1 reception and 2. We'll look at snap counts here shortly. But it's clear that sounds like Mitchie Biscuits is going to be our QB2. It sounds like that overall competition is solidified. It's cemented. We can move on. It's no more, oh my God, we can move away from Mitchell Trubisky and save $2 million in potential cap spend. No, it's not worth it. So Mike White, welcome to the practice squad. 4 for 11, only 54 yards. And then Mitchell Trubisky did not do much better. 7 for 13 for only 55. That Chicago Bears defense was absolutely eating up the Buffalo Bills all evening. All right. And I do want to give credit where credit is due, because Ben Johnson went out there and he was calling some damn plays. I would probably say that I was a Chicago Bears fan. I probably wouldn't have opened up the playbook as much as he did, since it is the preseason, of course, but it worked. And it completely kicked the Buffalo Bills' ass all over the damn field, is what it is. Let's talk a little bit about the rushing side of things, right? Frank Gore Jr., man, he would have been a bright spot in this offense if he did not fumble the football last evening. He had 8 carries, 51 yards, 6.4 on average. And surprisingly enough, I have to break down the all-22, but from what I remember, I think the dude, again, has proven that he has some chops in the pass blocking department. So I really, really do. Still very difficult for me to find a spot for Frank Gore Jr. on this roster. I think that there's going to be 4 running backs given the nod, and that's just based off of the behavior of this coaching staff. It's James Cook, it's Ray Davis, it's Ty Johnson, and Reggie Gilliam is going to be running back number 4 for us. But I got to tell you what, man, like having Frank Gore Jr. like right on the practice squad, some of you might be nervous. Oh my God, what if somebody picks him up? I mean, last year nobody did. And last preseason, I would say it was probably equally as impressive as it is this year. And so I have a feeling that Frank Gore Jr. Once again is going to be a practice squad running back. Say, for example, that we suffer any sort of injury. He is going to be a guy that's going to be elevated. It's how it is. But one of the few bright spots. So, of course, once you end up taking away the fumble from Frank Gore Jr., he was one of the few consistent players we saw out there, since we typically only saw Frank Gore Jr. for the vast majority of the game. I think that's kind of where we're at. Receiving, right? You have Terrell Shavers. And this is a dude right here that is doing whatever he can to make this team. Like that back shoulder reception was impressive. It really, really was. He bailed out Mike White with, again, a less than ideal type throw. And he's all over the field. Folks, like he's doing whatever he can. He's doing what he can to prove to this coaching staff that he deserves to be the 5th wide receiver on this squad. And I got to tell you what, too, based off of what I've seen from Elijah Moore last evening, I'm not even so much convinced that Elijah Moore has locked up a 53-man roster spot at this point. Like, dude had 2 key drops, and granted, I understand who is throwing him the football. That much I will acknowledge. Okay. But then he had this one specific rep that I'm very excited to take a look at once this stream is over with, where he demonstrated some of the worst vision I've ever seen in my entire life. He went in the complete wrong direction that the block suggested that he should have went. He's just not living up to the hype, and I don't think that we should be shocked about this. We really shouldn't, right? Like, we can give him excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse, but his mistakes have little to nothing to do with QB play last night. Those 2 drops were inexcusable. And then obviously that mental mistake should not be made by a player that is, I think, going into his 5th year, maybe his 4th year, say that I remember. But regardless, he's been in the league long enough where he shouldn't be making mistakes like that. It's just how it is. So maybe Shavers ends up taking Moore's spot. And so, of course, we did end up seeing Moore take a punt return, right? Maybe Moore might be that guy. Who knows? But I suppose that's a conversation for a different time. So Elijah Moore, I think that we can all agree he is on our bad list. All right. Right now we are mad, of course, at Elijah Moore. And then Joshua Palmer, he had a very limited breakdown. In fact, I can go on ahead and we could check out Sal Capaccio's breakdown of snap count. And when you look at Palmer, he had about 17% of the snaps, where Elijah Moore had about 42% of the snaps. So the fact that Elijah Moore had 1 reception for 5 yards, 2 drops, and that 1 absolute gaff, which was a problem, I think that's not doing him any favors. And he better hope that he is able to really perform when he sort of ends up going out there for preseason week 3. Once we end up playing, I forget who we're playing preseason week 3. We'll figure it out later. All right, guys, as I am looking in, man, we have 248 of you on YouTube. We have 51 of you on Facebook. Do me a favor, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't had an opportunity of doing so already. Let's push this up, man. 258 like buttons. Let's get over 500 people in this chat this morning because, again, we need to have an open conversation. This is therapy hour for the Buffalo Bills. All right, man, we have another super chat donation from my boy Susu coming in. And the blowout loss does not define you guys. 100. It's funny, man. It's really funny how I could see people really getting bent out of shape over a preseason loss, and I get it. It's important, right? Like, you want to see how these second string players perform. But again, I want to let everyone know we will never see the entire second team defense or second team offense out there playing in unison ever. Not unless we're like leading by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and there's 10 minutes left, or the preseason. We will not see the entire second team out there playing in unison. That's just how it is. Maybe like 1 or 2 second strings will be elevated to the first to account for injuries, but it's no different. It's no different. So don't come back. Don't come with the takeaway that, oh man, like this team is in trouble. It's not. It's just a couple of players that didn't particularly live up to expectations. We have all that. And then now defense. Because many of us know that defense has been, by and large, the number one thing I believe all of us have been looking at. We want to make sure that our defense is setting the bar. Because last year we had a pedestrian third down defense, right? And so we had a hard time stopping the run, a very hard time stopping the run. And secondary had its issues once you ended up getting down to the second team and like that depth overall. But let's at least start off with who did make some noise. We have Jordan Hancock, again, for the seemingly 4th week in a row. He continues to prove that he may be one of the most slept-on draft picks from this Buffalo Bills class. Like, that's key. Like, that's something I think that all of us can get excited about. Shoulder injury is a bit concerning. We're not sure the extent of the shoulder injury. We did see a clip of him tearing up on the sideline toward the back half of the game, but his interview suggested that he should be okay. So depending on who you ask, whether or not that it's Thigh Doctor, who I am actually going to see is able to come on a bit later today, or maybe even later sometime this week to unpack the Jordan Hancock injury. From what I understand, he believes that it's an AC joint, so maybe 1 to 2 weeks as he rehabs that up. So we likely completely avoided a disaster. And folks, I got to tell you, like when it comes into weaknesses, by and large, the biggest issue that we have, if you were to ask anybody right now, is probably safety. And say that I were to come out and say, hey, guys, what's your biggest concern? And a lot of you are probably going to say safety. Like, Dan, like, I don't trust Damar Hamlin. I don't trust Cole Bishop. And I got to tell you what, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, man. Those guys are buns. Those guys are booty cheeks. Both of them are booty cheeks for the past couple of weeks, man. They really were. Like Hamlin, I get. Man. Like, dude literally gets paid $1 million a year, $2 million a year. Like, where is that ranked amongst safeties? Like, where is that ranked amongst active safeties right now, folks? I'm not mad at Damar Hamlin for getting cooked in coverage or missing a tackle or being lazy on his pursuits, because we don't pay him to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't pay him to be a player that I feel like a lot of Bills Mafia wants him to be, or they expect him to be. So I don't care about Damar Hamlin. I do care about Cole Bishop, though. And Cole Bishop, again, man, holy hell. You could tell that that man is not getting the reps that he needs. Because, my God. And again, I need to unpack the all 22. I have a list of players that I need to be unpacking once this stream is all said and done. But, my God, man, he was a liability out there, dude. He was getting cooked in coverage. He had a couple of plays where he was just not in the right spot, man. He got tangled up right in like this like man coverage set where it seems like that receiver had his entire own zip code. So safety's an issue. It really, really is. And hence, I feel like our take right now of being like, look, if Jordan Hancock's good to go, man, you got to roll him out with Taylor Rapp. Like, he's by and large, I would say, the most impressive player we've seen on defense so far in this preseason like aspect. Like, Jordan Hancock needs needs to be the starting safety next to Taylor Rapp. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. So that's the safety conversation. I want to go on ahead and point out a couple of more things. I think Brandon Codrington, he's not doing himself any favors whatsoever, like right in making this team, not unless Buffalo wants to make him an exclusive like punt returner and not a kick returner. I think Shutout, again, was hands down the most impressive kick returner that we have had already. So it's going to be hard for me to find a spot for Brandon Codrington. We can move on a little bit of somebody else who like really didn't do his thing. And Buffalo Joe, man, my God, rough day for Joe. Yeah, rough day for Joe. So I think that this was the first experience that we had with Buffalo Joe where we asked him to drop into coverage. It was not good for Buffalo Joe. It was not good for Buffalo Joe. And that's not a bad thing because normally when it comes into the old school traditional linebacker, that's Buffalo Joe. That's who he is. He's a downhill guy. He's great against the run. He's a solid tackler. But he looked out of place, as somebody just suggested. Rhonda right out there, right within the chat. Like, he just looked out of place in coverage. And like, he was getting cooked all over the place. And how it looks is that Joe is directly behind Terrell Bernard. He is directly behind Joe Bernard. Excuse me. And Terrell Bernard. I have no idea why I said Joe Bernard. And forgive me. If Bernard goes down, I'm not particularly sure that I trust Buffalo Joe in going in for him. That's why I'm very optimistic in Shaq Thompson. Can Shaq Thompson stay healthy? Because Shaq Thompson is a better sort of he's a better all-around type linebacker where he's serviceable in coverage. He's serviceable in run defense. I think Shaq Thompson might be the better fit for directly behind Bernard in case he goes down with an injury at any point. Same thing with Dorian Williams. Like, he's behind Matt Milano. Like, he also struggles in coverage. So we need to have some sort of linebacker that is ahead rate of Buffalo Joe. Somebody that can do that. Because God forbid, and let's not pretend that that's not something that we can reasonably guess. Because Bernard and Milano have been injured quite often, and very often we see both of them injured at the exact same time. And that's when quarterbacks just start slicing and dicing that side of the field with mesh routes, with quick slants, because our guys typically have a hard time covering all of them. So that's something. So I think we found out a little bit about Joe Andreessen when it comes into his coverage capabilities. And why I'm being so hard on him is because that has been something before that opposing quarterbacks have exploited in the past. So something to think there. We have again with Damar Hamlin. Yeah, like struggled in coverage pretty bad. I'm not going to lie to you. Certainly want a bit more from him. We have Cole Bishop. He is also something that upsets me. Again, a giant nothing burger from Landon Jackson. Again, I need to break down the all 22, but again, absolutely nothing from Landon Jackson, which is discouraging. Right outside of a roughing the passer penalty. So again, not the best evening for our boys, if you know what I mean. As far as kick returns, you have Laviska Shenault Jr. He had 3 returns for 84 yards, 28 on average. I think that we can all agree that he is way ahead of schedule when it comes into being named the starting kick returner for us. Hence why I think that we are going to be having him on this roster as a wide receiver. Maybe Shaver still has an opportunity of making this roster if, for example, Moore continues to have a shit week of practice and then also a shit final preseason game. I could see a world where we walk away from Elijah Moore and we put Shavers in instead, but that's a different conversation. But Shenault, I feel like it's very hard for me not to find a path for him to make this team. Like, just like solidify and cement the fact that Chenault's probably going to be on this team as wide receiver 6. He's going to be our kick returner. Like, that's something that I think that I know. And so to quote the great Josh Pate, if you will. And then last but not least, Brad Robbins. Like, dude, like six punts, 293 yards, 2 in the 20, and a 48.8 average, man. You know what? Like, you have a rough game when your punter is dominating the box score. Like, these were, bar none, the most impressive numbers we saw all evening was Brad Robbins. And you know what? I was a big proponent of keeping Kamara and letting Brad Robbins walk because Brad Robbins sucked a couple of years ago. But hey, you know what? He made the most out of his opportunity. So I'm sure that there was Brad Robbins out there being like, oh, man, maybe we can figure this out. But let's take a look at this. Man, we had Caleb Williams, 6 for 10, 107 yards, 1 touchdown against second-team defense. You had Tyson Bagent out there, 13 for 22, 196 yards, and 1 touchdown. You had Ian Wheeler, 19 carries, 80 yards, 4.2 on average, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that dude was out there doing his thing. He was out there doing his thing. You had Luther Burden, 3 for 49 yards, Tyler Scott, 3 for 54. We barely saw a single starter out there. Loveland did really well for the Chicago Bears. You had same thing with Austin Booker with a sack. So with the Andrew Billings with a sack, man, it was like that was a Chicago Bears type game. And that's where we're at. We have Walter S. coming in with a great take, by the way. Shavers over Moore feels extremely short-sighted to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad Shavers is having an offseason, but I'd rather have the more versatile player that could back up for Shakir and Moore. Yeah, for sure, man. So I think these preseason reps matter to Sean McDermott, right? Say that it was up to me and just based off of ceiling and based off of face value, I would go with Elijah Moore. That's what I would pick. But I feel like we've seen time and time again that Sean McDermott really does not care about names, and he cares about who has made the most out of their reps during the offseason. So I'm not saying that Elijah Moore is going to be cut. He's going to not be on this squad. But with everybody hoping that Terrell Shavers makes this team, I think that's one of his only options. It's that Elijah Moore is cut or the Buffalo Bills try and trade Curtis Samuel right before week 1. So I think that that's us trying to carve a path for this young man to make the team. When Moore is playing with JA-17, things will be a lot different. And that's what I like to tell myself as well. But again, so I do get that QB chemistry with a wide receiver is indeed important. But some of those drops from Moore last night were absolutely disgusting. And that one specific play where he misread the block, like that was something you don't want to see from a 4-year vet, a 5-year vet. And that's just some of my observations. And by no means are these inclusive or conclusive, but still some observations I believe that need to be discussed. 285 of you are on YouTube right now, folks. Smash that like button for me if you haven't had an opportunity of doing so already. Let's pump this up to 285 like buttons because obviously we need to have a conversation here. Let's lock it in. And by the way, folks, say, for example, you want to win your fantasy football league this year. I know that you want to. I highly recommend you download RotoWire Fantasy Draft Kit. I have been doing mock drafts like a madman for the past couple of days, and I am convinced, based off of my assistant general manager, RotoWire, I am going to wipe the floor with my friend group. Bar none, 0 questions asked. I absolutely love this thing. It has the most in-depth data points you will see out of any draft kit, including their upside versus their schedule, and so their overall depth chart and their projections for 2025. Scroll down, and like you can see who is going to likely be gone before your next pick. So say that you already know, like maybe you want Joe Burrow right in the next round, but there's a 79% chance that he could be gone, and maybe you need to make a last-minute decision. RotoWire tells you all of this. Just go on ahead and link it with your current fantasy football platform and use this to dominate your league. I know when I am raising my fantasy football trophy this year, I will be thanking RotoWire. And when you are raising your fantasy football trophy, you're going to be DMing me and thanking me for putting you on. Link is in bio, and use my code Dan for 15% off. Shout out to RotoWire for being a proud partner of today's channel. The best ability is availability. I agree. Statement. The problem is we get rid of Elijah Moore, and we would have to take the cap hit. Couldn't we just cut Curtis? We have a much more significant cap hit on Curtis Samuel if he were cut. I think we eat $6 to $7 million, say, for example, that he is out there, right? But say that we trade him, then we have a much more limited cap implication, which is ideal. And that's the last thing that we need. Dan, when did you start streaming at 10 instead of 9? Dragon Dude 815. So the 9 o'clock thing was only for training camp. Normally, my streams begin at 10 a.m. EST. So I just need time for the gym, bro. And so I need to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. And so I need to get my 2-hour lift in and my half-hour of cardio, or otherwise I'm not the same person. And so I would not be as entertaining as I am on the internet unless I ended up getting my workout in and my morning routine in the morning. So that 9 a.m. was exclusively for training camp. We are now running exclusively with the 10 a.m. over here. We have a super chat that's in the building. Craig, you are the man. Thank you so much. Just when my Cowboys choked at home the other night, my Bill said, hold my beer. Well, I'll tell you what, Craig. We can get this going. Here is the thing. So their number ones were against mostly our number twos. Then by the time their twos were out there, we put out our third stringers. Not much expectations in a game like that. Yeah. So one thing I think that's very important so to wrap our heads around. Just look at individual performances. And let me tell you what. All of the individual performances were not very good either. However, don't make any conclusions from the team as a whole, because we will never see our entire second team offense or defense playing in unison during a regular season game, barring an absolute blowout right within the fourth quarter. Any team is going to go through this when you have that significant of a mismatch between starters and seconds and thirds. It's just how it is. And those players are on the second and third team for a reason. So remember that, because that's how they play together. But again, really wish that we would have saw a bit more from some of the players. But what can you do? What can you do? Dan, I thought you said Hamlin was starting material. Now he's looking like cut material. Senke has come in. No, I said that he's quality depth. He has been asked to start, and he is paid like a depth player. And we've had no reason, or we've had no sort of option but starting him for the past couple of seasons due to injuries. So I've never said that he's a starting caliber safety. And so I said that he is quality depth, and we've had to start him based off of it. Like, dude's getting paid like $2 million per year. Okay. So the Buffalo Bills are not treating him like a safety that everyone wants him to be. So he is not a quality safety. He's serviceable, but he's nowhere near the best safety we have on the roster. Bills, but I'm going to be honest. We have Joey Gonzalez. Last year's draft's looking like a bust so far. I'm just saying. Don't sleep on Keon Coleman just yet. And don't attach the word bust to anybody here. And Seattle did the same to Kansas City. Exactly, guys. So I'm pretty sure that Kansas City is 0-2 right in the preseason as well. And I don't really believe that we've seen a lot of Kansas City Chiefs fans in here, like running around acting like the sky is falling and the season is over with. Let's see that. While I understand the ones versus twos, etc., we got blown out, and I'm concerned about our depth. So I get it. And so I share a sense of empathy with you, right? But remember, there is a big difference from a second string player being elevated with the rest of the first team than expecting there to be a point during the season where we roll out our entire second team defense. Barring an unprecedented injury bug, we are never going to see that. Say, for example, that we have Cam Lewis going out there, and he has to be the next man up for Taron Johnson. Like, say Taron Johnson misses a game or two, right? And Cam Lewis is being elevated up as the slot corner. He still has Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard as an insurance policy that are also picking up coverage assignments once it gets to that second level. He still has Christian Benford on the outside. He still has Trey White / Max Harrison on the outside. While that's a mismatch, It's not like we have Cam Lewis, but then directly behind him, you have Joe Andreessen and Dorian Williams who can't cover to save their lives out there. It's not like that we're going to be having Cam Lewis and Derek Forrest, who, by the way, has been a complete ghost this year during training camp. He's not making this team. So never make a conclusion from a unit in and of itself from the preseason, but look at individual plays. Like Hancock looks great. Like Hancock proved to me that he could be a dude that could be plugged and played and hell, even start at the free safety position right next to Taylor Rapp this year. You had Sanders look pretty good on week 1. He was pretty quiet. Again, I have to look at the film. It's released. I can't wait to unpack it and be live later this afternoon to talk to you guys about it. But, yeah, I don't know. What you want to see if player development in preseason, we haven't seen much of that. It's disappointing. Best players this preseason have been Shavers, Hancock, and Brad Robbins. A lot of concerns and red flags. Brad Robbins, man. Shout out to Brad Robbins. We have Todd Tobin. This was the third stringer's time to shine. Welcome to the practice squad. Still not concerned when the real games are played. I totally get that. Dan is basically the Bills fans' impromptu therapist this morning. That's exactly what it is, man. I am here to talk to you people. All right. And so I'm here to talk to my friends. And yes, I do consider you guys my friends because I talk to you about football for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, Monday through Friday, each and every single morning. So I'm here. And to prevent you from jumping, if that makes sense. John, Dan, what are your thoughts on Justin Simmons? I don't think that we would be able to afford to bring him in. I also think that there's a reason why he has still yet to be signed. So I'm not sure whether or not that his medicals are concerning. I'm not sure if people think that he is aged out. As far as safety, so I'm completely fine with Jordan Hancock filling in. And one thing that I would also like to acknowledge, and one thing I would also like to put out there for everyone to understand, with each and every single NFL team, I could care less if you were a Super Bowl contender or you were gunning for the first overall pick in next year's draft. There are going to be weaknesses on every single team. There are going to be a portion of your team that is crazy. Last year with the Baltimore Ravens, who was an incredible team last year, especially in the regular season, who was their biggest weakness? Right? They had Brandon Stevens, perhaps one of the worst cornerbacks in the NFL, and he was an absolute dumpster fire. He was terrible. But what happens, right? Like that defense still ultimately ended up doing well because he was just so a player that didn't deserve to start, but he was still plugged and played with the rest of the ones. There is a weakness on each and every single team that we play, folks. There is something to exploit. If there wasn't a weakness on any defense on the face of the planet, then offensive coordinators would not be able to game plan. It's just how it is, man. That's game planning, is exploiting weaknesses. Whether or not that it's a specific player that just has one portion of their game that's weak, that we have a positional mismatch against. That's how it is. So one thing, again, I would like to let everybody know, like that's football. And that's what we need, sort of rely on our coaches so to make sure that we have favorable matchups and adjust, because there's no excuses. I could care less if Damar Hamlin is the starting safety this year. We better have an insurance policy with him. Like we better have an insurance policy, whether or not that's Taylor Rapp, man. Like we need to make sure that guy slams 2 5-hour energies before each and every single game. Maybe we just need to make sure that Damar Hamlin is never out there in cover 2 whatsoever, and we just run single high safety shell, and it's Taylor Rapp out there immediately, and we rush Maxwell Harrison back so that we can at least implement his speed out there. There is no excuse for a less than elite type player. And it's very easy to do it because several of us, like we expect greatness from our team. And we're allowed to do that because you know what? Like we're fans. Like we probably spent a lot of money supporting this team in merchandise, in games, several thousands of dollars of being able to like try and juggle the various streaming platforms we have to download to watch this team. I get it. But at the end of the day, with a salary cap sport, you can't have an elite player on each and every single like position. It's going to happen. Like teams are going to have weaknesses. It's just how it is. And come on, guys. Bills have a great season regardless of their performance during the preseason. Regular season is where it comes in. What's the breaking news here? Breaking news. So the Pagulas fire coaches 1s, 2s, except 17, concede 2025, always next year. Hope you're doing well. Well, dude, you know what? Like, based off of some of the sentiments that I was seeing from the live chat last evening and some of the sentiments I was seeing in right on Twitter as well. I mean, you certainly would have thought that that was the case. You certainly would have thought that that was the case. All right, folks. Thanks to Garage Beer. All right, folks. We have the Garage Beer hotline where if anybody has something on their mind that they would like to discuss and they really want to get it off of their chest, they have the opportunity of doing it on this show right here. I have pinned the call-in stream for anybody that would like to come in and let me know what is on their mind about this team, a question, a statement. I treat it like a radio show. So I try to keep you on for about 20 to 30 seconds, let you say your piece or let you ask a question. And then I boot you off, and then we continue this conversation. So do not be shy. If, for example, you would like to come in, talk a little ball, the Garage Beer hotline, beer, taste, and beer is indeed open. I do want to let everyone know that I recently just ended up launching a show on the Roundtable Sports Network. It is called The Bills Roundtable. It is myself. It is Z-Bot. It is Kevin Masari and Jake the Bills Bunker, who meets every single Mondays and Thursdays to unpack everything that happens at the Buffalo Bills game or / trending news with the Buffalo Bills. If, for example, that you guys would like to hop onto this, do me a favor and go subscribe to this channel right now. Right down on National in my description as we are speaking. And we're set to go live at 5 p.m. EST. I have a feeling that we are going to be hearing quite a bit more from our co-hosts as well, not just my own opinions, but also a more statistical type thing. So shout out to all of you that have subscribed already. We're at 361 subscribers, which is crazy. And right now, I think if I calculated correctly, we're sitting at 288 of you on YouTube. Everybody, if you haven't, please go subscribe over to the Bills Roundtable. That link is in the description, and we will see you at 5 p.m. today. And then college football fans, I'll tell you what, man, a show I'm very excited about. We are launching a college football show, / we already did. It's myself and Jay Tuck, and we're unpacking everything. Week 0 starts this week. It's game week. We have Idaho State and Kansas State locking in and going crazy in Dublin, Ireland for the first college football game of the season. So I highly recommend that y'all go out and show a little bit of love and hang out. But just make sure you go subscribe to all of that, folks. And let's welcome in our first caller. DTN is in the building. DTN, what up, man?
I'm doing good, Dan. I just wanna get something off my chest about after that loss to Chicago for the Bills.
Yeah.
It's the preseason. Do I think the Bills will have a great season? Yes. I just feel like Chicago want to put out their starters just so they can get reps and not be a little rusty when regular season starts, because we know Chicago and how they failed to meet expectations. So in seasons past, so I'm not surprised that Chicago want to get out the starters and have reps. But Buffalo will do fine. I'm just looking at the standings right now. These standings for the preseason mean nothing. Like Buffalo being last, New England being first. I just don't get some of the fans nowadays. And Dolphins fans think that, just because they beat the Lions, it was second stringers versus second stringers, and then they tied with the Bears. I just don't get it. Plus, I love my Patriots going 2-0, but it just shows that at least there's progression, regardless is the preseason. I just don't get why some fans will dwell on the preseason when the regular season comes.
Yeah. So one thing I always like reminding people, and so I'm sure you heard this right before you came on, is there will never be a point ever. Like there will never be a point where we will see the entirety of our second team defense or offense out playing in unison at any point during the regular season, ever. Like maybe you'll see a couple of guys elevated up to the first team and then say that you have a quality coach, then obviously you are going to make adjustments.
Yeah,
never make conclusions. So never make conclusions based off of how a team as a unit performs in the preseason, but individual performances certainly do matter. And there's red flags that I've seen from an individual basis. But yes, I would indeed agree with you.
It will be a concern, however, if one of your Bills starters goes down with a massive injury and your second stringers don't perform up to their potential. That's the only thing that will be a concern. But other than that, you should be fine.
Yeah. No, yeah, man. I totally get it. Shout out to Travion Henderson, man. He's a dog. And so I'm excited to watch him play. And DTN, I appreciate you, brother. Take care.
Okay, take care, man.
Take care. Shout out to DTN, longtime caller. The best mod in the business, good friend, Dwayne, is in the building.
What's up, buddy?
Dwayne,
how you doing?
What's up, man? How was your weekend?
Oh, wasn't bad. Another weekend of work. So I'm a Bills fan first and then an NFL fan after. What I saw was their ones going against our twos. By the time their twos went in, they're going against our threes, and so on and so on. So for Bills fans who took a lot into that game, just don't. It was just a game where I think McDermott and crew wanted to try out a lot of our young players to see if there was that diamond in that rough. Unfortunately, we didn't find one, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. You know, like right now, like there are several players that are trying to gun for a position on this 53-man roster. And like last night when I was live reacting to it, I was really trying to challenge people. And so to name 3 players out on the field, like during the third quarter, I'm like, guys, like list 3 players on the field right now. Like close your eyes and tell me who's on the field. Like who's starting off-ball linebacker right now? Tell me, who is it? Right? Or who's starting free safety? Or who's starting on the boundary corner? Like 9 times out of 10, like with these guys, unfortunately as it is, a lot of them are probably having early conversations for a tryout for the UFL here within the next couple of weeks. While I was a bit upset that obviously I did want to see a better performance from Cole Bishop, right? I did want to see a better performance from Landon Jackson. I did want to see Sanders have back-to-back quality performances. And I was hoping that Mike White could prove that, yes, we could save a little bit of money by letting go Mitchell Trubisky, but it's clear he can't. But
no.
Yeah, like
what a lot of people have to understand though, Dan, is these players, let's say we do, and to the point a little bit about DTN, when you lose a player and you put your second string in there, they're still playing next to great players.
Exactly.
And they feed off that and they learn off that. Where right now, other than practices, they have not been able to feed or learn off that. We're only going to know how good a Landon Jackson is and how good Cole Bishop is, to be honest with you, till they play regular season.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel about it. I don't think Cole Bishop's going to turn out to anything. I think he will start, but I don't think he's really going to turn out to anything, and we'll just see what happens. But on that, please catch me on Discord when you're done here today, because I want to talk to you about the chat yesterday.
Oh, for sure, man, for sure. I had
we
quite
got
a
to
bit
figure
going on
that
in
out.
that chat.
Other than that, I'm out of here. Peace.
All right, bro. We need to have that meeting indeed. Holy hell. Or otherwise, you're going to see Dan Mitchell have a mental break by week 4. All right, we have Tommy in the building. Tommy, you driving, man. Where are you headed to?
No, I do security, so I'm in Detroit doing some on-site security today, man.
Nice, man. Nice. Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, got a disgruntled employee, man. I got to make sure nobody's hurting nobody.
Oh, dude, those damn disgruntled employees. Well, stay safe out there, man.
Yeah, dude. Hey, man. So, hey, look, man. I get it's preseason, and I understand what some of the callers are saying, and some of the people in the chat, but I heard you once say it is important because it is. I mean, it's important for these guys, these young guys to develop, to see how far they've developed, to see the second year guys, to see how far they develop. And honestly, bro, this may be one of the worst preseasons I've seen from the Buffalo Bills in recent memory. As far as players that are taking the next step forward, I haven't seen anything, Dan, and that is the disappointing part. I don't care about the score. I don't care if we win or lose in preseason, but I want to come out of a game going, this guy made a step forward. This guy's looking good. And I don't listen. They're all going against 2s and 3s too, right? I'm seeing other teams, players take a next step forward. Our guys, it just seems like, they're just not. It just seems like they're out there, and that's not good enough, right? So that's what I take from the preseason so far, Dan. It's just like the guys that are trying to earn a roster spot are just not doing it. Right? They're not doing anything for us to look back and go, hey, this guy's definitely earning it. I mean, I named 3 players in the chat, right? Shavers, Hancock, and Robbins. I mean, that's disappointing.
And say that it's a punter is in the top 3, then, obviously we're having a bad performance last night. From what I understand, I think that this was one of the most lopsided preseason games in like 50 years, I think, is what I remembered correctly.
Almost. So what makes the game even more embarrassing is I almost wish they would have tried to score the touchdown because to me, they showed us mercy at the end. That's just a terrible for me. That's even more of a slap in the face, right? But that's one of the worst performances in a preseason game. Yes.
Yeah, man, most definitely. I think that we could share the same sentiments here when it comes into paths for some of these second-year players or even the rookies, right? Because what's trending is these players that were so desperate to see a next step have been largely ghosts or have only been in the headlines for negative reasons during training camp and joint practice as well. Like with Cole Bishop, again, he was on a snap count, but guy got absolutely twisted right in that man coverage opportunity. He's a liability out there. Then we saw same thing with Buffalo Joe, who's quality in run defense. He's a great downhill linebacker, but I think we learned that say that Buffalo Joe is asked to cover. I'm not particularly feeling all too comfortable there. Same thing with Landon Jackson. Again, he's a no-show. Again, a no-show, right? That's now 2 games in a row. Same thing with all of training camp. So it's okay to be upset as long as we're upset about development on an individual basis and not as a team as a whole. That's kind of my thought process. So I feel like everyone has a right to be upset on the trajectory of some of these second-year players and even the rookies. But as far as a cohesive unit, I feel like we'll be okay.
Yeah, Dan, I totally agree. Like you said earlier, it's not going to be like the 2s and 3s are going to be any time playing a full game in the regular season together. So right, that's just not going to happen.
An unprecedented injury bug that we've never seen before, but.
Exactly, but I gotta say, I said it to you earlier, in the offseason, the safety position was my main concern. It was my main concern last season, and it continues to be. And I just think that they kind of put all their eggs in the basket, hoping that Cole Bishop would take a step forward in this offseason, and they're wrong. I mean, right now they're wrong, and we don't have a plan for it, and that's the biggest problem right now in that safety. We don't have maybe Hancock can be that guy, but truly, Dan, we don't know until if he even gets the start, let's say, right? We don't know if he's the answer, right? If Bishop and Hamlin isn't the answer, right, this season. So that's disappointing. You're right about Landon Jackson. He's just been honestly getting bullied out there for a guy that's a freak athlete. I don't see it, not yet. Yeah, I mean those are my concerns, and like you said, man, it's we won't see these guys, on the field, but they are the future. I mean, we drafted these guys, right? So that's the concerning part. They need to start showing some kind of development that they were worth the draft pick, right? Something they got to show something, or these picks are going to wind up being just really bad, and we're back to square one with trying to find young talent.
Yeah. Well, so we'll see what's going on with that safety room. Say that it was up to me, I'd probably just bite the bullet and I'd say, congratulations, Jordan Hancock. You are the new safety starting alongside Taylor Rapp this year, but I'm not entirely convinced Sean McDermott would do that.
I'm with you 100%. All right, I know you got other callers, Dan. I appreciate you taking the time, man.
Well, hey, Tommy, I appreciate you, man. Thank you again, man. The Mafia Sports Report, great YouTube channel over there, man. Highly recommend you go check out my boy Tommy. We're going to be having him on quite a bit, especially during the regular season. Some quality takes over there. Let's bring in Jay from Long Island. Jay, what up, man? How's life?
Yo, good morning, Dan. How are you doing?
Oh, man. I'm doing good. You know, all things considered, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I watched last night's Bills game, and look. I didn't really. This is kind of not surprising anyway, because the Bears played their first stringers, their stars out there against our backups, our second stringers. So this is kind of expected. Now, did I expect us to score 0 points? No, I thought maybe we'd have some points on the board before the end of the game, obviously, but. It is what it is, obviously. Look, I know there's a lot of people overreacting to this loss. It's preseason at the end of the day. Let's get out of the system. And, look, a lot of these guys who started yesterday and played yesterday are probably not going to be starting on the team, or probably not even going to make the team anyway. Like, you talked about Elijah Moore. I don't know if he makes the team. I mean, maybe Shavers makes it over him, but like you said, that's a debate for another day. But, look, we got to remember last year we had played the Bears in the preseason, and we lost them. We got blown out by them, and we played a drive or two with our starters out there, so – and look where both teams ended up last year. The Bills made it to the AFC Championship game. The Bears were fighting for a top 5 pick again in the draft. So at the end of the day, this doesn't really matter. And look, and I guess heading into the next game against Tampa for preseason, I wouldn't play our starters. Just get ready for Week 1 against the Ravens, and go on from there, obviously. And look, and I still believe in our. I'm not worried about the offense. And I know people are talking about Landon Jackson, DeMar Hamlin, and how Jordan Hancock is shining. I agree with you. We talked about Jordan Hancock the other day. DeMar Hamlin, I mean, is he a cut candidate? I don't know. He can get cut. But at the end of the day, he's least good depth. But he should not be a starting safety. I will say that,
Yeah, most definitely, man. It's a tough pill to swallow, but based off of Cole Bishop's lack of reps already, and based off of how Sean McDermott handles these things already, as much as I would love for him to announce Jordan Hancock as starting safety alongside Taylor Rapp, I'm just trying to prepare everybody in this audience just to see, when we end up rolling out our full depth chart and so our starting 11 right on Week 1.
Yeah.
I have a gut feeling it's going to be DeMar Hamlin.
You really think DeMar Hamlin's going to be the Week 1 starting safety along with Taylor Rapp against Baltimore? You really think so?
Unfortunately, yeah. Based off of number one, he's had more reps than Cole Bishop. It's not that I think that he deserves it, but I just I think that DeMar Hamlin is going to be given the nod for the starter.
Look, I'm not trying to sound controversial here, but I mean, listen, I'm glad obviously DeMar's alive, but if he not suffered that medical episode against the Bengals, I think he's not back on the team. I think the Bills just felt bad for him, and that's why they re-signed him, obviously. I mean, I'm not hating on DeMar.
No, man. Listen, you are not the only person that thinks that. Dude is not paid like a starting safety, unfortunately. Yeah. It's just he's really better only option because we've always had to deal with injuries and he's always had to be put out there because Cole, did not look much better than DeMar last night. Trust me.
Yeah, Cole, I'm really
some people might even say that DeMar had a better game than Cole Bishop, if that's saying something, which is an issue. But best guy that has really been making the most out of his snaps, in my opinion, has been Jordan Hancock. But I think it would be a long shot for Sean McDermott to say, all right, Rook, let's go out there and play on Week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens.
Either way with Hancock, I think he suffered an injury. He might be out for 1 to 2 weeks from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, most definitely. We heard that he ultimately ended up, it's an AC joint, I think, but we'll see. And that's yet to be confirmed.
A little interesting, maybe a trade question. Maybe the Bills can do this. Would you trade a 4th-round pick to the Giants for Kayvon Thibodeau to become a linebacker for this team?
Kayvon Thibodeau.
A 4th-round pick. Would you trade a 4th-round pick for Kayvon?
For sure. Like, say, for example, that we can make it work contractually and say that we can make it work with the cap. And so I'm never going to deny adding some additional help right within our defensive line.
Yes.
While last night was not ideal for us, we did have a lot of wins during joint practice. One particularly was Joey Bosa, who allegedly had 2 sacks or would-be sacks during joint practice. We had a couple of other guys that had a pretty solid starting stand, like during joint practice on Friday, which is encouraging for us. So the starters at one of the red zone drills for the first one, we held the Bears scoreless. So that's encouraging, right? Like, we're getting pressure, it sounds like. We're relatively solid when it comes into coverage, which is good. But again, man, we have to see some better performances from some of our seconds and threes, like next week. Like, that's where I'm at.
Because obviously, if one of our starters gets injured, you got to have a second stringer step up. Like, let's just say James Cook goes down, Ray Davis has to step up. I'm not worried about Ray Davis, but obviously when it comes to our safety room or any of our defensive players, because at the end of the day, what's come back to haunt us in the playoffs, injuries to our defense and just defense in general.
Yeah, man. Well, so I'll tell you what. Unfortunately, say that we were to walk away with the conclusion of just after 2 preseason games, it sounds like Josh Allen is set to win yet another MVP because, again, he's putting the whole team on his damn back. But I'm optimistic that we will end up, seeing some positives roll out.
What did you see out of T.J. Sanders and Deontay Walker last night? I mean,
Sanders and Walker. So I haven't had an opportunity of unpacking all of the all 22. It is released. So I'm going to be taking a look at it once this stream is over with, and then I will unpack a lot of the names on the next stream with Kevin. So,
Dan, you're subscribed to PFF, right?
Okay.
I'm not subscribed to PFF. I don't see any PFF grades out there for preseason. Can you see the PFF grades for preseason?
Let me see.
Because I'm not seeing them myself. I mean, I don't know if it's out yet.
PFF. Normally it takes a little bit. Let me see if the grades are up.
Sure, take your time.
Yeah, no problem.
I got college starting in a week, so cannot wait for that.
Yeah, you have college starting in a week. Where are you going?
I go to Farmingdale State College. It's right nearby where I live.
All right, sick, dude.
It's a SUNY school,
All right, some SUNY schools. I can appreciate that. Okay. It's not out yet, but I will include that on my stream later this afternoon.
Oh yeah, and also, I know, are you gonna make another final 53-man roster predictions? Because there's a lot of if Shaver's gonna make it, is Moore gonna get cut? Is Curtis Samuel possibly gonna get cut or traded? I don't know.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, man. I will more than likely be doing that later this week. Okay. Friday, probably leading up into the final preseason.
I cannot wait for that. I don't know what the status for Maxwell Harrison is, because I don't think he's played I think he did play against the Giants. Maxwell Harrison didn't play last night, obviously. So, is he okay?
He had a knee procedure or a knee sprain.
Well, I know his knee was bothering him, but is he ready for week 1?
So he hasn't had any reps since then. Oof, I think last time I've heard, I think they're hoping that he could be ready by week 1, but I do not think that he's going to see much playing time since he missed out on all of those reps. But hopefully he can ramp up quick.
Yeah, in all fairness, even if he was ready for week 1, I don't even think he'll get much playing time out there, because you know how McDermott handles with rookies. And I think heading right now to start week 1, I think Trey White's our CB2.
Yep.
Which is kind of concerning, I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, let's see what Trey White can do back in Buffalo. Maybe it's just him playing in Buffalo. McDermott's system can maybe make him shine. Yeah. I don't know. But I think it's what Trey White's dealt with so many injuries. He's definitely not going to be the same player he once was.
Yeah. So he's actually been having a pretty promising training camp. Some things at joint practice I wish were better, but we'll see. Jay, yes. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
I'll call next time. Have a good rest of your day, man.
Thank you so much, man. Shout out to Jay for the Garage Beer Hotline. I did notice my Uncle Jim is in the chat. Okay, shout out to my Uncle Jim. What's going on, my friend? Hope all is well. You watched that travesty last evening. I hope you're enjoying your evening, Uncle Jimbo. Appreciate it. We have the next caller on the Garage Beer Hotline. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Am I actually on the show?
Yes, sir, you are. How you doing?
That's awesome. That's crazy to think that these days you could just get on and be on a podcast. It's really awesome.
Yeah, hell
So,
yeah, man. I am glad that you decided to join in. What's on your mind today?
I was watching the game last night and kind of got really sick of Greg Olson and Joe Davis talking up the Bears. And
Okay.
it just felt like this is the Bears Super Bowl or something. Like you
Yeah.
could tell the Bills just had the second, third, and fourth, like they had no starters in the defense, and they're like, "Oh, Caleb Williams looks so awesome, and he's perfect and he's on time." And then I'm like, "Why don't you just go ahead and crown him?" I'm like, "This is." I think they were running their
Yeah.
true offense,
And so
we
zip
were
them up
just
afterwards, for the love of God.
yeah, and we're just running base defense probably the whole time. So it was
Yeah.
just like, come on. Um, I
Yeah.
wasn't really worried about it. I would like the offense to have actually done something. But they just didn't have the ball. It didn't seem like for that long. So, but yeah,
Mhm.
it just seemed like the Bills came in with like, we don't really care about this game kind of attitude. When I seen all the backups in, they probably are like, we don't want to get any more starters or people hurt, that kind of thing. So we'll see in the Buccaneers game what they do. I don't
Yeah.
think they have anybody else to throw in there.
Yeah.
Maybe Josh will play. I don't know, but
Yeah.
wasn't too worried about it.
No, not at all. Like I said, so the main takeaway for me is never draw a conclusion from the team like right within itself, but look at all the individual performances. And obviously, like you said with Greg Olson, so they are high on the Chicago Bears. And admittedly enough, I am as well. I do think that Chicago is going to be a better team with Ben Johnson this year, but that's a conversation for a different time. It's hard for me to look at this score and say, okay, Chicago's winning the Super Bowl and the Buffalo Bills are going to win 4 games and be in competition for the first overall pick. That's not where I'm at right now, right?
Yeah.
But what I do always like to say is don't look at this as a team loss, but look at it as some of the individual losses from players that are trying to make this squad. Like safety is an issue. So with Cole Bishop, man, like he was out there getting twisted like a pretzel. As much as I love the story of Buffalo Joe, quality downhill linebacker, he makes his tackles, but say for example, he's asked to like step up for Bernard and hop into coverage, like that's an issue. And like
it seemed
that's
like he played the home game too. He was like in the whole game, like from start to finish. Like they took him out for a little bit, but then he was back in there. I'm like,
yeah,
I guess they don't have anybody. They didn't really have anybody behind him, but he had a ton of snaps.
Yeah, no, he did, man. He was out there quite often because we just need to figure it out, right? Like we have like some of the best coverage linebackers, like so within a tandem in Matt Milano and Bernard. But once one of those guys goes down, liability, an absolute liability. That's why I'm kind of interested in Shaq Thompson, but like he's been injured, obviously. Say that I was putting together this roster, 53-man perspective, I'd be having Shaq Thompson directly. So the next man up, right behind Bernard. Same thing with Milano. Because Dorian Williams and Bernard are really cornered into just playing their specific position. I can't ask them to both fill in for Milano and Bernard. They need to be set with somebody right in particular. So it's fine. We'll see how the next preseason game goes. Maybe we see a little bit of Josh Allen. And so in my opinion, I really don't see the need for it. Like he's coming off of an MVP season. Like he has the exact same offensive line as last year. Like has so the same weapons with the exclusion of Josh Palmer. I've heard that they've been gaining chemistry in joint practice and in camp, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, I don't know.
My hot take is DeMar Hamlin probably will start at some point, and he'll probably start a few games. He's like kind of like Cam Lewis. They just can't. I don't want to say get rid of him because he's done pretty good when he's came in. We've not given up too many deep balls, that kind of thing. I don't think he's been burned a lot. He still kind of tackles funny, and I think that's what got him in trouble in Cincinnati. Instead of going lower, he kind of chest up into the guy. and the guy caught him with his, Higgins caught him with his shoulder and just at the right time. But if he was just a little more physical, maybe he could hold it down and a little bit more of a hitter.
Yeah. So it's good because once Taylor Rapp is out there, man, like you don't nearly get as many targets to the safety tandem as people like want to believe. But if Taylor Rapp is gone, that's when Damar Hamlin starts to get targeted. That's when he starts to get targeted. Like Rapp is so athletic that he can cover a lot of ground. That's typically what the issue is, but I don't know. I'll tell you what, man, I appreciate you calling in and feel free to do so anytime.
Thank you. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, man. Absolutely, man. Dude, shout out. I love all these new callers, man. I love all these new callers. And it's a damn family reunion in here because my cousin Jenna is in the building as well. All right. Shout out to cousin Jenna. What's going on, man? Listen, I come from an Irish Catholic family, and so I have like 25 cousins. All right. Maybe even more. And those are the ones that I can confirm. All right. So I can guarantee you, those of you in Buffalo, you'll likely know one of my cousins out there. I can promise you that. We have 274 of you are watching on YouTube. We have 27 on Facebook, 315 on X. Grand spanking total of 617 people are rocking with me, talking a little bit of football this morning, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. Smash that like button, guys. Let's propel this out to the YouTube algorithm gods, and let's continue to talk a little bit of ball. Look at that. We have what's up, cousin Jenna. We have Beth B in the building. Oh, man. Holy hell. DJ Finesse is in the building live from South Buffalo, the Tesla warehouse. What's going on, my friend?
Good. What you doing?
Oh, man. I'm enjoying things. I'm not nearly as upset as I think a lot of people are, but yeah, I'm doing pretty good. What's up?
I'm not saying. I think a lot of people is over-exaggerated. It was preseason. And I think people should give Damar Hamlin a little bit of credit. Like, he do make plays, though. When he made plays in the playoffs last year against the Ravens, wasn't nobody saying nothing bad about him, though.
Exactly.
He's not a good starter. I'm not going to say that. He did miss that tackle. I was like, dude, what are you doing? But
yeah,
he not. If he can come in for a backup position, fill in a couple of games, he cool. But for the future, no, he ain't. He's not paid like he is.
So I feel like the hate for Hamlin is wild. You would think that he's a top 10 paid safety in the NFL, right?
And I think he earned his spot. It's not because he died. Like he earned the spot on the team. I know they not just keeping him. Because if that's the case, they would have been cut him. They cut Poyer. They would have kept Poyer and Hyde.
Yeah. And last year he beat out Mike Edwards fair and square. And then this year, we're all hoping for Cole Bishop to go ahead and win, but he's been ass and he's been hurt. So
and that other dude, the dude they signed, they ain't talking about him all season.
Dude, you know what, man? I need to be reminded that Derek Forrest is on this roster. And so I need to be reminded. Yesterday? Yeah, he did play. Yeah, he played a little bit.
I'm watching the game after halftime though, so.
No, yeah, dude. Honestly, man, I had to look at the snap count and just to confirm, but yes, he did get his share of snaps. And so again, but it's a safety question. Say that it was up to me, I'd probably end up wanting Jordan Hancock to play right next to Taylor Rapp. I'm not sure if McDermott's going to do that, with a rookie.
That one play he had, remember the one play he had when they caught the touchdown, he threw it. He could have been, he was in the wrong position a little bit on the back of the end zone.
Yeah. I saw that play too. I'm super excited to see what this all 22 looks like for sure. And so again, right? One thing I say is that every single NFL team had zero weaknesses, then planning would be impossible.
Right.
Each and every single team has a position group that we're concerned about. It's not exclusively a Buffalo Bills problem. It is a league-wide problem. That's how offensive coordinators game plan. They pick out the one weakness. Yeah.
Right. I think the Bears too. They was using some of their good plays. I'm telling you, some of the plays was I know they're gonna be using.
Oh, dude, look. So it's all theatrics, right? Because last week, you had Brian Dable, whose seat is hot as hell. He needed to give a win to his Giants fans. He needed to. And then Ben Johnson.
The preseason is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And then Ben Johnson, hype is all around this dude. And he needs to prove to the world that Caleb Williams is that guy right in front of the home base of Chicago. Like, we had 2 games in a row where both of these preseason opponents, like, were putting just about everything on the table.
Right, it makes sense, but people don't put that in consideration.
Yeah, exactly. Like that or whatnot. And like, he obviously wants to make some good relationships with the media going into week 1. So again, like, I guarantee you that Buffalo probably didn't even game plan for this game. And I can tell you that they took joint practice a hell of a lot more seriously. So if you guys are really trying to look for like real takeaways, like what our starters would have looked like against the Chicago Bears, look at joint practice. And we had several wins all across the board. And that was even including some of the second string players too. So that's why I remain optimistic. You know what I mean?
I don't think it was that bad. I'm not taking that. I'm not over reacting to the blowout. We did get whooped, but it's preseason. If Josh Allen was on the field, we probably would have had a shootout. It would have been 38-39 or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, most definitely. And so if Josh Allen was on the field, and so that game probably would have been over by the 4th quarter. And so our starting defense, man, like, we probably would have had a couple of takeaways. It's just how it is.
Because 44, he was in a couple bad spots. Like, bro, how you missed that? But they
That's
need more
Buffalo
time,
Joe,
though.
man. That's Buffalo Joe, man. He's a quality tackling linebacker, but say, for example, you ask him to guard a slot receiver, man, it's too late.
Oh, no, he's not checking no slot receiver. It's over.
Yeah, dude, he's not. Yeah, bro, he's yeah. So he loses immediately right in that matchup. But hey, DJ Finesse, I appreciate you calling in as always, man. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day at work.
Nah, for sure. One more question. What time you going on later?
Later, I'm probably going to go at 4 p.m. EST. I'm going to look at the All-22. I'm going to have Kevin on as well. So as long as you have those bell notifications turned on, you should be notified.
I'll be always forgetting it. Because I get up at 7, but I'll be forgetting it later. I'm gonna tap in later, though, for sure.
All right, man. Hell yeah. All right, man. We'll see you here soon. Peace. Shout out to DJ Finesse, always coming in, showing a little bit of love on the show, man. This is the therapy hour for each and every single one of you that would like to have a conversation about the Buffalo Bills. And the Giants game would have been over by halftime. Carly is coming in. Beating the Bills in a preseason game means something to these teams. It certainly does. Dan, and didn't we lose just as bad last year in the preseason to the Bears? 33-7. 33-7, my friend. That was the goal. So nice, and to see new and repeat callers. That's what I'm saying. What's a Baltimore's preseason record look like? I think they're undefeated, but again, it's preseason. We have 6 rings in the building. What's up, man?
I'm good. 2 things. Now, I'm not here for therapy. I'm here to give you guys historical lessons.
I love it.
Now, it is preseason, and I don't hold too much to it, but there are some things to learn. If Josh Allen goes down, let's say 5 games, and you have to put White or Trubinsky in, there's a chance that the Bills go 0-5.
Of course.
So I do think there's some lessons, like they put no effort out there to make the team. None of those guys look good.
Yeah.
I know they're second string and third string, and it doesn't mean, but they didn't have any effort. None of them looked like they wanted to make the team.
Yeah, true. It's true.
You have a huge issue, I think, at your safety.
Mm-hmm.
That could be addressed, but yeah. But other than that, you have Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So he's
one thing
gonna
I
have
always
to go.
like. So one thing I always like telling people is, so with each and every single NFL team, there is a weakness. Like, that's how offensive coordinators are able to game plan. That's how defensive coordinators are able to game plan, whether or not that it's mismatches or whether or not that it's a player that shouldn't be out there in the first place. Like when you typically see a starter go down and the second string is being elevated with the first team, like that's typically where you see the quarterback start to attack that side of the field. It's not a problem that Buffalo only has. Like you look at any team right within the NFL, and I can guarantee you that I could pick out one position group that is going to be picked on based off of that weakness. It's all about how the coaches end up sort of scheming out of it and having your insurance policies with guys that are playing right next to them.
Like you saw what happened in the playoffs, right? You guys got injured and the depth wasn't there. You know what I mean? Against the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky you have Josh Allen. He's so good. I think he's the second best quarterback in the NFL. Just the ability to how he takes over your team.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great quarterback. But shout outs to Jack Kemp, too. I think he's your greatest quarterback. But I like the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
We had a player, actually, Gino, back in our day that was a receiver and he kicked, that had an MVP year.
Is that right?
I like going back. Secondly, your buddy Richie, right? What did he say? That Tom Brady has never beat the Jets in the playoffs? And that the Jets' numbers against Tom Brady in the playoffs are superior, but when you go back in your databases, Tom Brady did defeat the Jets in the playoffs by a wider margin of, I think it was 37-16.
37-16, and Tom Brady.
Just watch out for Richie. You know, he likes to trickle the numbers a little bit on the Jets. He might add a touchdown or something. And if you notice, he likes to increase and inflates. You might see some extra yards that no one notices. And he deflates the Bills and he deflates the Dolphins. So just watch out for his numbers.
Part of the game. It's part of the game with Richie,
but you lose credibility when you get caught. It loses the credibility. You know what I mean?
Folks, we're going to need fact checkers on Richie right over on 4th and Forever later this afternoon, folks.
So just watch his numbers. And if you know Tom Brady like I do, he's my favorite player, you'll be like, hey, it's off. This is from a channel that were bragging that the Jets would go 11-6 and that Justin Fields is going to make the Jets Hall of Fame.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God,
You got to go back and watch the callers, man.
Dude.
11-6.
11
it's the most biased. Just watch the numbers. I'll have to remind him that Tom Brady does have a better winning percentage on your next show.
All right, man.
So
well, you know
watch the numbers.
And so we look forward to that call. Hey, man, we look forward to that call. 6 rings. I appreciate you calling in, showing a little bit of love. Like you always do, man. That's a Patriots fan. That's Richie's biggest op. All right? That is Richie's biggest op. Right in the chat, man. Like, Patriots fans really hate Jets fans for some reason. You know what I mean? It's a long historical rivalry, apparently. And we love hearing it from our boy 6 Rings. Always comes in a medical professional that always brings the heat. Matthew, he's tapping in from school. What's going on, Matt? Matthew. Matthew, you are live on the Don Mafia Report. All right, we haven't heard from Matthew here. What I can tell you, folks, is that my boy, he's probably in school right now. You know what I mean? Matt, pay attention to class, my friend. It's your senior year. Finish it off with a bang. No senioritis, at least until April. All right, no senioritis, at least until April. That much I can tell you. All right, folks, that's going to have to do it for this morning's edition of the Don Mafia Report. I hope that this was a quality therapy session for each and every single one of you. As a reminder, I am live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. EST and then sporadically during the afternoon. I want to remind all of you that if, for example, that you would like to tap in to the Bills Roundtable later this afternoon, it is a brand new channel where myself, Kevin, and then also Bills Bunker are typically live talking Bills Mondays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. EST. This is the show right here. Right as you can see me sipping my sparkling water. That's certainly on brand if you were to ask me. Go on ahead, boys, and subscribe to that channel. Link is in bio, and turn on those bell notifications. I would like for all of you to be there. We're working really hard that this channel becomes the next big damn thing. We love all of you. So certainly go check that out. And then same thing with our college football show. That is where we are at. Guys, that's going to have to do it for the Don Mafia Report. I love each and every single one of you, and we will see you here soon.